Oh, ho, 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 ho. Good afternoon, Darg's channel. We're on our second upload in a row, which is pretty crazy because the reception that the video that I just put out has gotten has been absolutely insane. I was genuinely expecting this video to get like 15 views by the next day, but you guys got it to over 300 by the time that I'm recording this, which is pretty freaking crazy. The sub count on this channel has also quadrupled as well since I last checked in. So the slop train has officially started chugging, buddies. I think we're gonna be here for a long while now. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while now is the broader topic of mascot horror, but I don't think it's something that I can make a main channel video on because I don't know if I can really correlate all of my thoughts for this in particular, at least in a way that's scripted, so I'm just gonna ramble about this little thing that I've been thinking about here. So, you read the title, is mascot horror dying? Short answer is obviously no. Mascot horror has not gone anywhere for a really long while, and I don't really expect it to. But the long answer is, I believe that a lot of the things that we have right now aren't nearly as popular as they've been, and I don't think they're ever going to reach the same peaks that they did. Now, obviously, this is natural. The only one that I think that has survived this throughout all of them is FNAF, but I kind of put FNAF in its completely different tier from all the other mascot horror games for that reason, because it's just gotten so mainstream. The movie did so well. The games still come out with overwhelmingly positive releases, and so I just kind of see that as a completely separate entity. It's way too big to fail. That's obviously not going away anytime soon. It doesn't really count. What I'm more talking about is the other scraps of the mascot horror community that we have right now. You know, your Poppy Playtimes, your Banbans, your Choo Choo Charles, and all those types of games. Now, obviously, we had a lot of really good releases this year from this community, even if they were kind of just shunned away after they were released. But as of right now, I'm really thinking about when we are going to see the next long chapter-by-chapter game release. Because Banban's been filling a void for a really long time that I don't think it's going to be able to fill for much longer, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I don't know why I'm saying unfortunately. It's probably for the best if that game does start to die off. But anyways, it is something that we need to acknowledge, and I do believe that Banban has fallen off a lot from the zeitgeist this past year. Like, even personally, if you look at the analytics between all of my Banban videos from the start of the year to the one that I just put out, you can see that there's been a detrimental drop-off. This doesn't take away from the enjoyment I make covering Banban chapters, because I still think they're very silly and I like looking at what there is in the new ones. But it is an undeniable fact that Banban is nowhere near in its prime anymore. So it's been making me question what's going to come to replace it anytime soon. Because Poppy is getting its new chapter sometime soon, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's been kind of radio silence, and I'm kind of curious about that. But everything that we've seen of Chapter 3 so far looks absolutely insane. I am really excited to see more of that. We got a new Bendy game that was announced that's coming out this year too, which is really cool for me now personally, because just this week I actually played through Ink Machine and Dark Revival for the first time, and I did enjoy myself. I really like the world that Bendy has been building up, and I'm really curious to see what they bring into the table with that game. But for the more slop, lanky box bait games, there's not really been anything that's been able to capture the same audience. Which may be a good thing, I don't know. All I know is that they get immensely popular for their stupidity, and I am really curious to see if anything will be able to come in and take that again. And who knows, maybe mascot horror is just not in favor with that crowd anymore. Maybe it's just all about the skibbity toilets and the amazing digital circus for some reason. But of course not. Mascot horror is obviously always going to be popular with children. You're never going to be able to escape the huggy-wuggy bootleg plushies in your local malls. They're always going to be there. There's always going to be something to take its place. And I feel like there's just been a very big gap in the market for that as of late. I feel like maybe people are not looking to make games nearly as much anymore and are probably looking at making YouTube series because that seems a lot more profitable right now, and that may be why. Because obviously Skibbity Toilet has had a stranglehold on YouTube Shorts and just YouTube Kids in general. So maybe a lot of people looking to make a quick buck are, instead of making games, making things like that instead. Which honestly would make a lot more sense, because you probably do make a lot more money off of YouTube views than you would for people buying your game potentially. Although I don't think game sales make up most of anything for these, it's most likely the merch sales. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure Banban just got the Fat Mojo license too, which is just great. I can't wait to see Jumbo Josh in my local Walmart toy aisle. That's just gonna be grand. But yeah, that kind of circles me back to the topic that I was mainly trying to discuss here. I don't really think it's a Mascot horror problem, and it's more just kind of a Banban problem. I think the kids are starting to get really bored of it. A lot of the ironic crowd is starting to fizzle away because of the Euphoric Brothers' awful actions. So the fan base is being alienated a lot more as of late. It just seems very dire for Banban in particular, because even the content farm videos are not getting nearly as many views as they used to. Like, you could see that the ironic crowd started to kind of dip back in early summer, but the content farms were only just starting to pick up steam around then. But now, instead of getting 1 million viewed fake chapter videos, you're seeing them dip into the 300,000 tier, which is still absolutely absurd, but it's nowhere near the peak that it used to be at, which I think is going to start being very scary for these content farms, and they're obviously going to start moving on to the other trendy things that aren't really related to Mascot horror, but I guess are like tangentially related in the same community because of who's making these types of videos. It's really complicated. I don't know how we went from funny bear game to skibidi toilet, but here we are. Really, the shelf life of Mascot horror just really depends on the YouTube meta and whatever that will bring in the future. Because if YouTube starts to favor Mascot horror less, then the genre will truly die there. Because YouTube is the backbone of this entire genre. It's been since the first Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's going to continue to be for the entire existence of the genre. So we just kind of have to wait and see if there's going to be anything new as of right now, because we are kind of in a content drought as of currently. The only things that have been really getting a lot of attention are FNAF and Banban, but Banban's obviously starting to die. And as I mentioned earlier, FNAF is in a completely different tier of its own. So it's just been a while since we've heard anything from like Rainbow Friends or Doors on the Roblox side. Choo Choo Charles hasn't been relevant in ages. And something like Bendy, although it is still going and we did just get a huge game announcement, it's not really a part of this crowd anymore. It kind of grew up with its audience, which I honestly think is pretty cool. And it's probably going to have you have a lot more respect in the long run. So, you know, good on the Meatly for doing that. I think that's pretty cool. But of course, there will always be a new swarm of summer kids every single year where they get their first iPad and they download YouTube Kids for the first time, and all hell will just break loose once more. So whatever is coming to capitalize on this drought right now, I'd say brace yourselves for it, because I don't think it's gonna be pretty. But I'd really like to hear what you guys think. Do you think that Mascot horror is dying, or do you think that there's just a drought right now, as I believe? This is something that I've been thinking about a lot as of late, and I'd really like to hear other people's inputs on this. Are you praying on the downfall of Banban every night? Are you wishing something will come and take it from its place? Let me know, because I am very curious. But also, be careful for what you wish for, because you never know. It could be a lot worse. Again, I do want to thank you guys for the support that the first video on this channel did get. I am really liking making these videos. I think they're pretty silly. And it's been pretty nice to build the skill of being able to talk about a script a little bit more, since that's the main point of this channel as a whole. So again, apologies if my narration wasn't that great in this. I am very amateur when it comes to making content in this structure, so it might take me some time getting used to. But hey, if you liked the last upload and you were able to stick around for this, then thank you. This is the Darks channel. This is where our daily slop content's gonna be. You know it. You know it. But anyways, I think that's gonna be the end of this one here. Maybe another video tomorrow. I don't know. I might come up with another thing that I can put out for then. But as of right now, this is the end of this one. So, I've been Dargs, and until next time, see ya.